Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, April 15th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Floods devastate parts of Russia and Kazakhstan. Keep calm. It's boom time. Severe storms expected to unload large hail and tornadoes in the central U.S. Oklahoma could see severe storms with hail, tornado risk late Monday. And will hail and damaging winds hit the Dallas-Fort Worth area this week? Here's what you need to know. Severe thunderstorm forecast Monday through Monday night extends all the way from central Texas up to South Dakota, with the biggest threat from southern South Dakota to southern Kansas. Another threat on the East Coast in the Delmarva, and then the threat moves east. Severe thunderstorm forecast Tuesday and Tuesday night. The big winter chicken dinner, Des Moines and the Quad Cities, as well as many regions here in the upper Midwest. So heed the warnings as the severe thunderstorm forecast is highly likely there. The threat is a little lighter Wednesday to Wednesday night, but still indeed present from Columbus south to Cape Girardeau. Holy macaroni, say that 5 times fast. And here are the local storm reports for all of April. The April 1st and 2nd storm and array showed a multiplicity of tornadoes, wind damage, and hail. And the April 9th and 10th events here, tornadoes in red, wind and hail damage in blue. So obviously just the start of spring, ding ding, and more is coming. Severe thunderstorms likely across much of the Great Plains. Critical fire weather conditions in the high plains. Widespread severe thunderstorms capable of producing large hail tornadoes, a few of which may become strong, and damaging winds are likely to develop across portions of the central U.S. this evening. Strong to severe storms will also be possible in the mid-Atlantic. Elevated to critical fire weather conditions are possible for much of the central and southern high plains today and Tuesday, which could be your lose day. Let's take a quick look at the GFS model. And, let's move it over to the GFS model showing precipitation and rain, where you can see that severe weather exploding tomorrow and the next day in the upper Midwest, the upper plains there, and then some secondary problems here as well in the center of the U.S. Most of this severe weather is for the center of the U.S. only, not the Northeast. The Northeast is going to be picking up precipitation, but the severe weather will wane by the time any of these storms hit the East Coast. Let's take a look at the total snowfall and move it through. Here is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Heavy snow for the Appalachians from Colorado north up into Canada. Heavy snow for Alberta as well there, as you can see that. And central Canada picking up amazing totals for spring. This brings us to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of next week, Wednesday of next week, Thursday of next week. All we can see is some additional systems in the west and maybe a little clipper here bringing rare May snow to the northeast. Cross your fingers. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says, I just make stuff up. Now, at the outset, we told you about floods devastating parts of Russia and Kazakhstan. For the past week, large regions of Russia and Kazakhstan have been devastated by the most severe flooding in decades. In fact, 80 years. The rapid melting of snow due to high temperatures caused the swelling of the Ural River, which flows from Russia in the Ural Mountains through Kazakhstan to the Caspian Sea. Russia and Kazakhstan are now facing the worst flooding in 80 years. Multiple evacuations are underway in southern Russia and northern Kazakhstan after floodwaters rose to critical levels. The rivers, which include the Ural, Europe's third longest, swelled as warm temperatures melted snow and ice, which were record in abundance, and then combined with heavy rains to overwhelm river embankments and at least one dam. The flooding is the worst to hit Central Asia in 80 years. Thousands of residents in the Russian city of Orenburg, which lies 900 miles east of Moscow and near the border with Kazakhstan, were asked to evacuate on Friday. The floodwaters had risen 37 feet in Orenburg on Friday, leaving thousands of homes submerged. Holy macaroni, and that's the word in Russia and Kazakhstan. Hunga Tunga much? Seismic update, no quakes of note, some aftershocks in Papua New Guinea from that 6.5 magnitude yesterday, but overall a quiet day worldwide. As we move on to worldwide volcano news update, Fernandina volcano in the Galapagos Islands. The progression of lava into the sea has diminished and the eruption may be over. Liwatobi Laki-Laki volcano in Indonesia. Explosions continue and a glow is visible from the crater, suggesting the rise of magma. Reventador to 14,000 feet. Ducono to 8,000. Nevado de Ruiz to 22,000. Sabancay to 24,000. Semaru puffing and passing today. Who knew? Now you do. Sangay to 21. Sabancay to 23. Liwotolo 10,000 foot puff. Santa Guito to 14. Fuego to 15. Nevado de Ruiz 21. Sabancay to 23. Liwotolo to 10,000. And Ebeco puffing and passing to 15. Pretty normal activity for the day. Hey. Now, if you didn't know, old Doinyo Lengai is the weirdest volcano on Earth and maybe in the entire solar system. The African giant has lava that is black, strangely cool, and flows like runny motor oil. A very rare type of lava indeed. Doinyo Lengai is one of the weirdest volcanoes on the planet, perhaps in the entire solar system, located on the East African Rift of northern Tanzania. Sorry. I knew I mispronounced that. Doinyo Lengai is the only active volcano known to gargle carbon-based lava. This lava is known as natrocarbonatite lava, and there is some evidence the volcanoes on Venus may have once erupted natrocarbonatite lava too. But this African giant is the only known producer of natrocarbonatite on Earth, at least in relatively recent times. You see, most volcanoes churn out lava rich in silicate minerals, making its melting point over 900 C or 1,652 degrees Fahrenheit. The lava of Doinyo Lengai contains relatively little silica, but has an abundance of carbonate minerals, allowing the lava to enter a liquid state at just 540 C or 1,004 degrees. Much cooler than most lava. So now you know. Space weather news update. Bunch of sunspots peppering the disk and some low-level flaring activity happening in the M range, albeit sparse. Look at how many little sunspots there are. Probably one of the most active times during this solar cycle. And you can see the last 24 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulsive M flares, very few, little in the way of any coronal mass ejections headed our way. And the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is relatively calm, getting up to KP4 on the 17th and the 18th. A quick look at the X-ray flux once again shows that increase over the last 48 hours, but nothing spectacular as of yet. Now, NASA was to make an announcement today about a project searching for life on Mars, and many people thought it might have been the discovery of life on Mars, but it couldn't be further from the truth. This plan to bring back soil from Mars is a nightmare. The project was established with an unrealistic budget and scheduled expectations from the beginning. While noting the scientific importance of the mission, the review board said technical issues, risks, and performance to date indicate a near zero probability of pulling this off. Specifically of the various aspects of the mission being ready for launch by the current 2028 timeline. So what the big announcement was NASA is a fraud and never a straight answer. Critics are calling out the plastic industry over the fraud of plastic recycling. Yeah, if you didn't know, there is no such thing. Of the 48 million tons of plastic waste generated in the U.S. each year, less than 7% of it is actually recycled. even though we're all bringing it to the landfill and the recycling place. Isn't that crazy? It's a scam. Follow the money. You want to follow the money, follow it right to the Green New Deal and all this climate change terrorism that we're having to experience here. Here is the incredible plan to refreeze the Arctic. And you know why we need this? Because the media says it's melting. Not because it's actually melting, but when this rich billionaire, a venture capitalist, ventured north of the Arctic Circle to reverse the effects of climate change, he was literally taking matters into his own hands. This is the dumbest thing ever. They are planning this startup to refreeze the Arctic. I think that before you came up with the idea of the company to refreeze the Arctic, you should have probably looked at the data. Arctic sea ice extent is the highest for the date in 10 years and nearly identical to the sea ice in 1996. Those are the facts. There is nothing going on with sea ice at either pole that requires us to develop a company to refreeze ice. There is nothing unusual or alarming to any sane individual, which is why the climate scam is in plain sight. Arctic sea ice extent is at multi-decadal norms, and so is Antarctic sea ice extent. There is no deviation from the 1980s, the 1990s, or the 2000s. It is in normal and average territory. And if we were to look at ice this week, care of Modus Composite, the entire Arctic is covered in a continuous sheet of ice. There is no ice-free Arctic in the future, nor will anytime soon, for goodness sakes. In fact, there is more sea ice around Antarctica today than there was in 1980, 1981, 1989, 2006, 2011, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2022, and 23. Are you picking it up? We just put it down. And Iran just put down hundreds of missiles and shot them towards Israel. And the Iron Dome, well, it worked. And almost nothing reached the ground. Now, that doesn't mean that they weren't attacked, because they were, by Iran, and they may respond. But in the meantime, the U.S. military destroyed 80 of the drones and 6 of the missiles launched from Iran and Yemen, according to CENTCOM. And does that mean we're involved? Well, absolutely. Israel is now weighing response after Iran fired hundreds of missiles the other night. And this seems to be a major strategic error on the part of Iran, because they don't have an Iron Dome. And if Israel launches 300 missiles back, it's boom time. You know what real boom time is? Here, enjoying the nature and the Native American cultures that we have, and some of the amazing petroglyphs that have been left by these cultures. Crow Canyon Petroglyph Tour coming up in just 6 weeks. Sunday, May 26th, one day only. We're going to meet in Bloomfield at the Salmon Ruins Museum parking lot. We're going to head out onto a very impressive expedition out into the middle of nowhere. 30 miles of driving on dirt roads into Largo Wash, across the Wash, and into Crow Canyon to see all 3 of the major sites, the main panel, Big Warrior panel, and the famous 44 panel, with an option to visit the ruins, the Shaft House Pueblito, say that 5 times fast, and tickets are selling quickly. There's only 30 spots and 6 weeks to the event. So if you're coming, please buy your tickets now. It will be an amazing event. There's going to be food, refreshments provided the whole time, as well as maybe some special guests and some door prizes. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video, as we are shadow banned and we need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do and watch all of our podcasts in one place, commercial free. Be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.